What did you do with all of your plums this season when you harvested everything? Let me show you what I've done with mine. First of all, I have about, I haven't counted my plum trees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 plum trees on this land, and I got about 40 pounds of plums. One, because we waited a little bit long to harvest, and an animal, like literally, I looked down and I'm like, oh, yellow plums, it's covered. My husband goes down there 3 days later. It's not there. There's no yellow plums. There isn't even a sign that there were yellow plums. Like he thought I was crazy. Like, are you sure you saw yellow plums? Like he's going to give me a lineup. This is a leaf and this is a plum. Like, yeah. Okay, it's not like he hasn't given me a lineup before of a cougar versus a bobcat. Yeah, okay. I was technically wrong calling the cougar a bobcat, but when you're face to face with one, that's a different story. Anyways, what have I been doing? Because I need to get going because these just came out of the freeze dryer. I freeze dry an entire freeze drying load of plums, just cut in half and stuck on the freeze dryer tray. Now, I put them in the freezer and froze them, and then I stuck them in the freeze dryer, and they still took 51 hours. And here's where I'm going to tell you everything is different. The major difference is, one, they were thick, but two, we have a heat wave going through right now, and it was in the upper 80s to lower 90s. And I noticed that every time it gets hot, my freeze dryer takes an extra 10 hours on anything. So you might be wondering, how are you going to package these plums? And what are you going to do with them? I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I was just in a hurry because I had a lot of stuff going on and I needed to get these done. So my husband's bringing in the plums. I had girlfriends and friends coming over, and I'm literally handing them bags saying, take whatever you want. I had one friend go, are you sure? And I'm like, yes. And she's like, because I'm going to fill up this bag. And I'm like, then I'll give you another bag. That's the way it rolled this year. So I gave a lot of the plums away, and then I cut up all of the ones that I had left, and I put them filled my dehydrator. My dehydrator is full of plums. Now you'll know I just did a dehydrator tray of pears. Yep, there you go, dehydrator tray of pears. And these are gonna be nice on the shelf. Look at that, that's gonna be pretty. So for reference, 1 half-gallon jar fills 1 tray. There you go. I'm going to get going. So I checked the humidity, and the humidity is 81% outside. So you know what that means. It means you need to package fast. I'm still waiting for the plums to come out of the dehydrator, and we will package those the same way. Woo, woo, woo. I'll try that one later because he kind of stuck in a puddle. And you don't want any moisture in these jars because a little bit of moisture can cause mold and can ruin the whole entire batch. Now, how did I know there's no moisture in here? Because I did the weight test. I literally weighed it every few hours. And then I went to bed because I was tired. It was 1 o'clock in the morning, and I went to bed, and I woke up and I weighed them, and they were all still the same. So that's when I know I'm good. I also made 1 batch, very large batch, of plum jam, classic plum jam. Let's check and see if they've all... My new faucet is in the way. That's a negative. I'm doing the pros and cons of the faucet, not real sure yet. So this whole entire batch cost me less than $1, and all we're talking about is the cost of the sugar. So that's it. And I've switched to using organic sugar, organic cane sugar. I don't like the beet one anymore, and you can definitely tell a taste difference and a feeling difference. So let's check and see if they've all sealed, and then we will get the water warmed and we will start washing them. And they have. Awesome. Now the reason I only did 1 batch of plum jam is I asked my husband, what's your favorite jams? And he said berries. Berries were his favorite. You know, been married to him for almost 20 years and just learned that. So I'm only going to be making partials so that I can use them for cooking and occasionally when we want them on a piece of toast. This stuff is delicious. And for under $1 for the entire batch, let's figure out how much total for each jar. While we're talking about freeze-dried plums, let's total up how much I saved. So one of these jars, and I had 5, is 7 ounces of freeze-dried plums. That's zeroing out the container and everything, so 7 ounces. I got 5 of these, so that's 35 ounces, and they were 100% totally free because we literally picked them off of our own tree. We didn't even use gas to go to a U-pick, so there you go. Now, we did use electricity for freeze drying them, but I'm not counting that because my electrical cost is so cheap that it's good. It just works itself out. Moving on to my calculations, if I wanted to buy an ounce in the store, 4.2 ounces go for $22 on sale. So for $22, that makes it $5.24 an ounce. Take $5.24 and times it by the 35 ounces in total that I got. I saved $183.40 on freeze-dried plums. There you go. Think I'll be doing that one again. Let's move on to the jam, because I did jam. I had a jam session. Now the whole entire 9 jars, which is 72 ounces, cost me $1, roughly $1. It was pretty much under. And store-bought, it's 54 cents an ounce. Now, knowing that I just spent $1 on this totally, I'm taking the 72 ounces and I'm timesing it by 0.54 cents, which is what store-bought plum jam. You can get jam for 30 cents an ounce, but store-bought plum jam at my local grocery store is 54 cents an ounce. Take that 54 cents an ounce, times it by 72, and you're going to get $38.88 minus $1, you're getting $37.88 savings for canning my own plum jam. There you go. Now I'm going to label them and we're going to move on because we're not done yet. The last thing I did was dehydrated a whole load of plums. All of the different varieties. So like one tree had 4, one tree had a couple, one tree had a handful, all of them. They all came on, and here you go. So I'm going to get to packing these. I'm going to store them in the same way. Only I'll label these instead of freeze-dried plums, dehydrated plums. It's really not that hard, is it? Yeah, not rocket scientist. Just takes time. I mean, like officially these are called prunes, right? And ever since I started eating, like, I know, TMI, ever since I started eating the whole wheat bread, I don't need these things at all. Doing a taste test comparison. I really like the dehydrated ones better. My favorite plums are the yellow plums. There was only a handful. Was is the operative word. Okay, let's round this whole thing in and close it all up. Plums are finished and processed in this house. I have 16 ounces of plums in here and 16 ounces of plums at my local store. The store brand sells for $8.99, bringing my grand total savings, because I had $183.40 for the freeze-dried plums. I saved $37.88 making my own plum jam, and I saved $8.99 dehydrating my plums, which means I saved a total of $229.28 harvesting all my plums. Well, and I fed a lot of the wildlife. There's that! You guys have a great day out there. Now you know what I know. Don't forget to label. I don't even know why I'm going to label these because I'm going to eat them fast. They are really, really good. I like them so much better dehydrated than I do freeze-dried. Who knew? Just want to prove to you I labeled. I do want to let you know that I use my food saver attachment to suck out all of the air of these jars. If I was long-term storing them, I would also put an O2 absorber in there. So just for reference, if you don't have a food saver or an attachment for your mason jars, go ahead and use an O2 absorber so that you can take all the oxygen out. There you go.